Hello everyone and thank you for tuning into TradeChat. My name is Panzer and today we're going to be talking about Hunters in 7.0. I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you do, remember to rate it thumbs up. The overarching theme for class design and class changes in Legion is to be able to easily differentiate not only each character's class, but each spec within that class. And Hunters are a very good example of a class that was very easily defined as a hunter, as long as they, were tracking prey and taming beasts, trapping their enemies and shooting them from a range. They're probably a hunter, but once you started looking at each individual spec, there weren't a lot of differentiating variables between them. So in Legion, Blizzard is going to try to make each spec a little bit more distinct and unique. With the addition of gnomes to the roster of races which can play a hunter, hunters are also seeing a new class of pet they will be able to tame, and that is mechanical, which makes pretty good sense for gnomes, I guess. I mean, I would have gone with tiny, but whatever. Gnomish engineering, I guess. This means that all hunters will be able to earn a new ability called the Mecha Bond Imprint Matrix, which will allow them, as well, to also tame mechanical pets. All three specs of Hunter will also notice that Deterrence is no longer in their spellbook, and it has been replaced by Aspect of the Turtle, which is essentially the exact same thing. It causes the Hunter to deflect all attacks and take 30% less damage for 8 seconds, and then during that time, they cannot attack. Quite a few abilities have been removed from all specs of Hunter, including Steady Shot, Tranquilizing Shot, and Aspect of the Pack, just to name a few. Beast Mastery Hunter's fantasy focuses on exploring dangerous terrain and bonding with its wild creatures. They have the ability to tame ferocious predators to fight alongside them. Right now, Beast Mastery Hunter's fantasy is pretty accurately represented in their gameplay, so in Legion 7.0 they're only going to see some minor tweaks to further differentiate them from other specs of Hunter. A pretty big change worth noting is that in Warlords, Cobra Shot was part of a Beast Mastery Hunter's core rotation to generate focus. In Legion, it's going to be completely different, and they will be using Cobra Shot to dump focus instead of generating it. Blizzard wants Beast Mastery Hunters to spend more time actively managing their pets, so in Legion, Dire Beast has been reworked to fill a core spot in your rotation. Dire Beast is an instant ability with a 12-second cooldown. It summons a powerful wild beast to attack your target for 8 seconds and regenerates 12 focus over its duration. With Dire Beast having a shorter cooldown and also a standardized focus regeneration rate, it's expected that it'll pretty much be used on cooldown, since Cobra Shot will no longer generate focus for Beast Mastery Hunters. Not only that, but it also reinforces the fantasy of taming a wild beast and having it loyally fight alongside you, because Beastmaster. Beast Mastery Hunter's artifact weapon in Legion is a gun called Titan Strike, which will summon Hati to fight alongside you, in addition to your regular pets and all of your pet summoning abilities and talents. All of the pets! In Legion, the fantasy of a survival hunter revolves around the ferocity and brutality of eye-to-eye combat. Fighting up close and personal means that they'll be trading in their projectile weapons for something more suited to melee combat, like a polearm. They'll still be using their abilities, traps, wits, and loyal pets to fight alongside them and take down their enemies. Since survival is seeing a full rework in Legion, we'll see a lot of their abilities also being reworked, replaced, revived from the dead, and completely new altogether. Mongoose Bite is a new melee ability for survival hunters which functions on charges. By default, each charge takes 12 seconds to generate, and you can hold up to 3 charges at a time. Mongoose Bite strikes the target for 250% weapon damage and also inflicts Mongoose Fury. Mongoose Fury will increase the damage of Mongoose Bite by 50% for 12 seconds, stacking up to 6 times. Successive stacks do not increase the duration of Mongoose Fury, so you have no way of extending the buff once you get to 6 stacks. You'll have to carefully manage your Mongoose Fury to maximize your DPS. It's also worth noting that survival hunters have no means of managing their focus regeneration, so you'll see a lot of them pooling their focus during successive Mongoose Bites to further amplify their damage. Harpoon is the new ranged ability which functions using charges. By default, each charge takes 20 seconds to regenerate, and you can hold up to 1 charge at a time. When used, it hurls a harpoon at your enemy, rooting them in place for 3 seconds and pulling you to them. If nothing else, Harpoon is an extremely fun ability to use. Survival Hunters will also be pleased to know that since they are now melee, Blizzard has returned to them some melee abilities that we haven't seen in quite some time. Wing Clip slows the enemy's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds, and Raptor Strike deals 150% physical damage. In Legion, not only will Survival Hunters be the only spec of Hunter using melee weapons, they'll also be the only spec of Hunter using traps. Other specs of Hunter will be given different forms of crowd control and AoE better suited to their distinct characteristics. In Legion, Survival Hunter's artifact is a polearm called Talon Claw. The fantasy of a marksmanship hunter in Legion focuses on the theme of them being a sniper in hiding. They're most effective at a distance, blending themselves into their environments to sit back and observe their enemies, to pinpoint and exploit their weaknesses. They still can have a pet if they so choose, though they're not nearly as reliant on their pets as other specs of hunter. It was originally intended for marksmanship hunters to be a petless spec in Legion. After reading a whole bunch of feedback, Blizzard decided to leave pets as a baseline ability and as a compromise make Lone Wolf an extremely competitive talent at level 15. It is worth noting if you take Lone Wolf in Legion, you will no longer have the ability to summon a pet at all. Black Arrow will become a level 30 talent, allowing players to stack Black Arrow with Lone Wolf if that is their prerogative. For those of you who enjoyed Survival gameplay before Survival became the melee spec, you'll be happy to know that a lot of things from Survival have been incorporated into Legion's version of Marksman, like the talents Lock and Load and Explosive Shot. In 7.0, Marksmanship Hunters will regenerate their focus with Arcane Shot instead of Steady Shot. In Legion, Marksmanship Hunter's artifact bow will be Thas Dara, Legacy of the Windrunners. To quickly recap what we just talked about, prior to Legion, Hunters already had a really strong class fantasy, but there wasn't enough differentiation between specs. So in Legion, we'll see Beast Mastery Hunters become the classic range spec with a heavy focus on their pets. Survival Hunters will be the melee spec with a focus on their traps and their abilities, and they still will also have a pet. Marksman Hunters will likely be running Lone Wolf and Black Arrow, and they'll also pick up some really cool survival abilities that got dropped when they became melee. All in all, Hunters should be easier to tell apart between each spec and hopefully more fun to play, because that's always the goal, right? Right. Let me know in the comment section below if you're a Hunter and if you like or dislike the changes. For me, I have an alt hunter, and I will probably just continue to play Beast Mastery, so no real change, I guess. Although I will say I'm pretty excited about being able to tame mechanical pets because I'm a nerd and that's the kind of stuff that makes me happy. But what about you? Let me know in the comment section below if you have a hunter and if you like these changes. The next class video that I will be doing is mages, and that will be soon. After that is monks. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you thumb it up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm gonna go. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I love you all. You're in my hearts. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. 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 Did you see me just punch myself in the nose when I was like waving goodbye? I'm gonna go. Okay, bye. Easily differentiable factors in between them. Beast Mastery Hunters. There's an airplane. I can still hear it. Beast Mastery Hunter's fantasy was also it will also reinforce the fantasy of fighting alongside an animal, you maniac. Beast Mastery, yo. It's a big change. To out melee, to battle their foes face to face. Harpoon hurl. Beast Mastery Hunters will be the classic range spec with a heavy focus on their tanks. Survival tanks, their pets. They're most effective at a very long distance, blending into their environment and exerting